Have you ever watched a child running wild, laughing so hard it echoes, and then smash? A toy breaks, a window shatters, and you find yourself thinking, why are they like this? We see the chaos, right? The noise, the pranks, the defiance. But how often do we actually stop and try to listen to what is happening on the inside? Behind that boisterous exterior is a complex, emotional world that very few of us ever get to see. Imagine a typical schoolyard at recess. There's a girl, let's call her Maya. She's the one pulling chairs, telling silly, slightly inappropriate jokes, and making everyone laugh. The adults labeled her mischievous, maybe even a troublemaker. But just before the bell rings, as she walks back to class, you might catch a glimpse of something else. Her eyes look a little sad. Her small hands twist a frayed piece of fabric in her pocket. It's a moment no one is meant to see. Maybe her mom left for a long trip this morning. Maybe the harsh words her parents exchanged last night are still ringing in her ears. For Maya, that playful, loud persona isn't who she is. It's her armor. It is a shield she uses to hide her hurt from a world that is quick to judge. Now, think about another child. Let's call him Leo. Leo is always making noise. He's the one who deliberately knocks over a tower of blocks, who seems to enjoy making other kids angry. On the surface, it just looks like a desperate grab for the spotlight. But if you could peer inside his mind, you'd understand that every shout, every disruptive act, is his way of confirming he exists. He's sending out a signal, asking, "Can you see me? Am I here?" Without that noise, there might only be silence. And for many children, silence feels exactly like being forgotten, like being invisible. So, this naughtiness becomes a desperate language, a way to say, please, pay attention to me, even if it's for doing something wrong. From a developmental psychology perspective, this all makes perfect sense. Kids aren't born with a sophisticated toolkit for processing complex emotions like sadness, fear, or loneliness. When parents are busy, when comfort is hard to come by, or when the only response they get is a scolding, children learn to adapt. They learn to send out the strongest possible signals to get any kind of reaction. This attention-seeking behavior isn't some master plan. It's a survival strategy. It might not be the smartest one, but it's incredibly effective because it gets an immediate response. Whether that response is a hug or an angry shout, any attention can feel better than no attention at all. And underneath that tough, playful mask, there's often a very deep-seated fear. It's the fear of being rejected. The fear of not being good enough. The fear of asking for something and being told no. Many children simply don't know how to say, "I'm scared, I need you," or "I'm sad." These are simple words that we as adults often take for granted. So, they choose actions over words. They show their feelings instead of telling them. And when those actions are consistently met with punishment, they learn a painful and damaging lesson. It is not safe for me to express how I truly feel. This is how the armor gets thicker. Adults, with the best of intentions, often miss the real story. We tend to focus on the results. The bad grades, the broken toys, the complaint from a teacher. We see the behavior, not the cause. We rarely notice the more subtle signs that something is wrong. Things like restless sleep, a sudden change in appetite, or how a child becomes quiet and withdrawn the moment there is no audience to perform for. Sometimes, a child might obsessively retell a seemingly small, insignificant story about a lost toy or a friend who is mean. This isn't just rambling, it's their way of trying to process and make sense of their pain. They're handing us pieces of their puzzle, hoping we'll help them put it together. So, what do these children actually need? It's not a stricter set of rules or a colder form of discipline. First and foremost, they need our presence. They need simple acknowledgement. A sentence like, "I can see you're making a lot of noise today. Is everything okay?" can be world-changing. It tells them their feelings are seen and valid. They also need judgment-free time, a safe space where they can cry, get angry, or repeat, "I need you," over and over without being scolded for it. Of course, boundaries are still crucial, but these boundaries should be explained with compassion. A child learns best when they feel safe and understood, not when they feel threatened. We also need to equip them with emotional skills. This means teaching them the vocabulary for their feelings. Words like frustrated, disappointed, and anxious. We can teach them how to take a deep breath when they feel angry, or how to say, "I need help," instead of acting out. These are the tools that lead to real, lasting behavioral change. And above all, they need consistency from us. They need to know that our love and support aren't dependent on our mood. A stable, predictable response from adults creates the security they desperately crave. We have this cultural habit of admiring people who are strong, who never show weakness, but this can easily lead us to suppress our own vulnerability. The same thing happens with children. When they're taught, directly or indirectly, that they always have to be tough, they lose the ability to connect with their true feelings. Real strength for both kids and adults isn't about never feeling weak. It's about having the courage to say, "I'm scared," or "I need help." It's about accepting that vulnerability isn't a flaw. It's a fundamental part of being human. So, the next time you encounter a mischievous child, I challenge you to do something different. Before you rush in with a lecture or a punishment, just pause, take a deep breath, and really look into their eyes. Behind the noise and the chaos, you might just see something incredibly simple. A fragile heart that is trying, in every way it knows how, to feel seen and loved. And sometimes, a gentle look, a sincere question, or a simple hug is all it takes to quiet the storm. It's all it takes to help turn that mischief into curiosity, creativity, and finally, into a heart that knows how to say, "I need you," in a way we can all understand. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that dives deep into the heart of what makes us human. We'll see you in the next one.